Hey everyone, in this video I am going to share my process of sketching out portraits, and hopefully something in this video will click and it will inspire you to make something of your own. So the first thing that I recommend is getting your base sketch right. It's the first thing of the step, and it's really like a building block. The whole drawing that you're making, it just stands on the foundation of the sketch. So if your sketch is not in the right place, then you're already setting yourself up for failure. Another thing that I used to face myself as a beginner was that I used to let myself get intimidated by the details, like without understanding the fact that if the form is reading correctly, then I can almost always add the features later on. And I don't think it's discussed enough online, but I think you should really take some time off from the drawing. Even my focus, it starts to like taper off after an hour or two of drawing session, so I just go out or maybe work out in between, and it's really important to just take some rest, especially if you're drawing for like an hour or two or maybe more, because then you're not really responding to the changes that you see in the reference. If you would just take some time off and maybe do some studies, maybe listen to some music, and when you do come back, you'll be much more fresh, and it will make the whole process much more enjoyable as you're taking time to just have some rest in between.
Never sleep, never stop. Every shot from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Another thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you're working with graphite, it takes some time to just render and build up the values. So you have to be patient. You can't just jam in your 10B pencil and expect to achieve the darkest value that you want. It takes time. This point kind of ties into the previous one, but I really believe that lesser pressure is the key to achieving good values, especially if you're using pencils. which is also why I started using charcoal pencils for the super dark stuff, as I'm not really interested in realism like that. I really enjoy the stylized look to my portraits, so why not use a charcoal pencil? Another thing to keep in mind when you're drawing is that the kind of art supplies that you use, it does really matter. At the end of the day, if you're using a different kind of paper, if it's a smooth paper or it has a rough texture which has a rougher tooth, it all kind of adds in to the kind of artwork that you'll end up producing. And the kind of paper that you use is actually so much more important than I used to think. And I think you're better off just investing in like higher expensive quality of paper like Strathmore instead of getting good quality art pencils. That's just like my opinion based off of my experience. But at the end of the day, you are the one who's going to have to just experiment and just see what works best with the art supplies that you have lying around. I usually record these at the same time but on different days, so I think it takes me like 6 to 8 hours to finish a portrait on A5, but again, it really sort of depends. As you can see, even after spending that much amount of time, I'm still making minor adjustments to my values. Even at this point, you can see me sort of adjust the values and going in with my stumps to make the hard edges a little bit softer if I'm seeing that in the reference. But you can honestly just keep on making these like for hours and hours and still end up not being happy with the kind of results that you get. So at the end of the day, you just have to be intentional with what you want to achieve. So, if your goal is to just make portraits and be better at them, you need to know when you need to push for quantity over quality. And if you're making that one piece that you're damn sure that you'll frame and keep in your room, then yeah, spend as much time as you want to spend on it. And I guess that's it. And I will see you in the next one.